All right. Well, hello there.
Hey,
It's October 1st, so cheers.
I know. Cheers, buddy. It's not just October 1st, and it's not just that it's week's end.
Oh,
It's that it's show number 60 there, Ryan Alexander Boyles. And what's really exciting is that we made it to show number 60. Congratulations. Cheers to you,
well,
buddy.
virtual cheers. Come bring it over here. We got to do the virtual clink, virtual
Okay.
glass clink, or can clink in your case. You got the Heineken. I'm drinking some kind of imaginary witch's brew to mark, the approaching autumn season.
Yes, naturally. And, it's really exciting that we've accomplished 60 of these shows because I got to tell you, this kind of kept me sane during the deep, dark months of the pandemic there.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fun guests. We've covered a lot of extremely useless topics and
Right.
shared a lot of nuggets of nerdy goodness. And I got to tell you, buddy, I really appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, well, I just like that we've cultivated the leading source of what we now refer to as useless, I guess, nerdy, geeky, leading source of useless knowledge.
And let's remember, we went from absolutely nobody watching this show to almost nobody watching this show. That is a remarkable. I mean, you show me anywhere else anyone's achieved that level of really mediocre growth, and I'll tell you, you won't find it. You won't find it. We're the best.
I don't think you can use that word mediocre because I'll tell you,
that's a little too much, isn't it?
In my monthly TPS report, what I was able to report for the end of Q3 2021 was that we had achieved 400% growth because we went from 0 to 4 viewers. I mean, that's just math, people.
That is an American success story, if I do say so myself, and I'm very impressed. But beyond the celebration and the mutual admiration society that is the Week's Enders staff here, Ryan, correct. What do we got on the docket to cover today?
Well, I think first we just wanted to give a shout out to one of our favorite organizations that has a meatball for a logo, right?
We certainly do. NASA is turning 63 years old, formerly in NACA. Let's remember that, which was not as sexy sounding as NASA, but 63 years old. Think about what they've achieved. They've done some stuff. I mean, really.
Lots.
They've done some stuff. If you think about Mercury, Gemini, Apollo shuttle, even just those few things alone is enough to fill 60 years in my book, let alone all the other research and development, test flights, rockets, engines being the stuff they're building now, all the just the International Space Station, the Hubble Space Telescope, Voyager. I mean, someday we all know Voyager has to come back as V'ger and almost destroy the planet. That couldn't have happened without NASA.
Technology.
So I give them a lot. I give them a lot of credit. Happy birthday, NASA.
I like it. Happy birthday, NASA. And I just want to say that I think with the day job, there's a conference here in Raleigh I'm going to be going to in October where one of the NASA engineers is going to be talking about how they're using open source software in the Perseverance rover that's on Mars, which is a topic we've covered extensively on this show.
We certainly have. That is very exciting, Ryan. I want to hear more about that as that you get closer to that conference.
All right. So let's, we wanted to talk about Bond, but neither one of us have seen the film yet. I know it's coming out in different geographies. Lots of folks are posting their early reviews, and I think there are folks that are lucky enough to see it this weekend. But I don't know about you. Have you bought tickets yet?
No, but I definitely plan to see it. It's funny, actually, we talk about Bond because earlier this week I found out that my favorite Bond, George Lazenby, is actually on Twitter, which I thought was cool. Which I thought was super cool. He just looks like my dad at this point, which is even funnier. But I just thought that was great. And I'm a Bond fan. I have been. I know some of the movies are ridiculous, and some of them are incredible, and some of them are mediocre. Right? There's like the whole range of it. And I have enjoyed these latest films. I think he's done 5 and 15 years. Is that right? Something like that. Yeah. And I don't know. I've really enjoyed them. They are not my favorites. but I like them. But this new one just looks, honestly, it just looks amazing, and I am really looking forward to seeing it. So yeah, I will be. I'll be there. How about you?
Yeah. Well, I bought my tickets exclusively with going to see it at Alamo Draft House here in Raleigh next Thursday evening, which is the first showing they're going to have here in our market. So
Wow.
looking forward to it. But I one of the things that made me giggle this week, and yes, I giggle, folks, was our good friends over at RAF Luton. I think they broke the story, right? That Mr.
They
Craig.
they did. So I don't know if it's mistaken identity or just this guy really, really, really looks like him. But honorary station CO Colonel Chuck. Oh, I lost it there.
Oh, here we go.
I lost it. You moved it. Lone Wolf McQuaid today hands over RAF Luton to Commander Jason Craig Bourne, who becomes the 7th commanding officer of the world's most mysterious and secret military base. Look, if you are not following at RAF_Luton, you really, really should. They share really the latest and greatest in military secrets, stuff that is really just incredible to see. And they broke the story about Jason Craig Bourne here, who looks a lot like Daniel Craig, but we think it may be a cousin.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a real story, folks. I mean, so they honored 007 with the uniform and the rank, the honorary rank of what he has in the fictional, I guess, MI6 in the movies. I think that's cool.
He's not MI6. Jesus.
He's
anyway,
not?
Well, no.
Come on. All right, tell me.
He's a naval commander. He just isn't.
But that's just
008.
his, but isn't that just his cover in working? Okay.
No, he's a naval commander.
All right, let's move along, folks. Let's talk about Tron because I'm about to lose my nerd card here. So why are we talking about Tron on this show again? Tell me.
So we're talking about, first of all, if you can hear the vacuum that's being run outside of my outside of the offices here of Weeks End Boston, it's because we're preparing for my son to have 4 teenagers come over and spend the night. So please, if you have thoughts and prayers, send them my direction. Just want to let you know. Anyway, so Scott Johnson earlier this week made a really good point that the world needs more Tron, and we just need to trust him on this. Yeah. I got to tell you, I agree. For the longest period of time, Ryan, how many times have we talked about hearing about Tron sequels? We know we love Tron. Tron Legacy was good. Even the animated series was pretty good. But I think it's time for a new movie. And they keep hinting at it that we're going to get it, but we haven't gotten it yet. What's your take on it?
100% agree. So for me, I just assumed that sound was like you were warming up the light cycles to take them out, but anyway,
it was. There's one of them right here, and I mean, honestly, that's obviously what it was. But I think it's time for a new movie, and
I'm game. I need it. I want it. Speaking of movies,
and Jeff Bridges is not too old to continue playing our Lord and Savior Kevin Flynn, by the way.
I think you're right. Well, look at all the de-aging stuff, and they did a really good job. I mean, Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a good
which was one of the first films I remember using that tech, right?
Yeah, it was. Let's talk about a different movie.
Okay.
So you wanted to talk about the fact that there is actually legit rumors and news about a new Gladiator film, which, I mean, that film came out quite a while ago.
That film came out in 2000, obviously a groundbreaking movie, a favorite of many people. I actually just watched it again the other night, and I can tell you that it has held up very well. I still think it's a very good movie. And Ridley Scott has said that when he's done with this project he's working on now, he's definitely going to be making Gladiator 2. They have a story. They just need to refine the script, get it into pre-production and shooting. Obviously, I mean, I don't know if he's going to produce or be
tell me something though. What did you, I mean, you've rewatched it recently. I think I've watched this film. This is one of those go-tos for me where I don't actually seek it out that
but if it's on, you watch it.
But if it's on, you get sucked in and you have to watch it. It doesn't even matter where it is in the film. You're like in there, you're like,
it's a comfort food movie at this point.
It really is. But
when it came out, it was a holy shit film.
Right. I mean, I put it up there with Braveheart, films like that. And so when you talk about Gladiator, though, who is your favorite character in that film and why? Can you say that?
I can in a minute. I want to share an idea that I have for a prequel, but I know that Russell Crowe tunes in to watch our show every week, and I just want to say, Russie C, buddy, it's okay that your character died at the end of the last movie, but what if he didn't?
What if?
Like, wouldn't it be cool if you were in the sequel? I'm just saying. I know you're watching, and I just want you to consider. I think Joaquin Phoenix is watching, and you're not allowed to be in it because your character was a bastard. So, but why don't you bring up that tweet that I put out? Because I want to talk about this.
All right,
I
let's
want
do
it on
it.
the screen.
Okay, let's
Because
do it.
we're going to get into my rant of the week here a little bit. Here's one of the problems I have with announcing sequels. There are wonderful characters that can be shared without having to create net new content. Now, I like net new content. My buddy Barnaby makes a point all the time that Starfleet is huge. Why do we see the same characters? Just show different ships, different people. And it's great. Go back to that tweet, please. But the point I wanted to make, you want to go back to that tweet? We're looking at No Time to Die boots. I'd like to see a prequel to Gladiator focused on Antonius Proximo. Now, you may remember Proximo was the Gladiator trainer, which the term for that is a Lannister. So I would like to see a movie about his capture, his rise as a champion warrior of the Colosseum, and how he won his freedom from Marcus Aurelius. And then we end with him starting as a trainer in a distant province of Rome. The title again would be Lannister. And here's my point. Here's my rant of the week. There are great stories to be told in content that we've already seen. Let's tell those stories. Let's see those characters. And I just think we need to do a better job of that. That's my rant of the week. And I thank you for listening, folks. Ryan, why don't you come on, join me back in the studio?
Yes, sir. All right, I'm with you on this. I like your idea. I want to see it.
It's a good idea.
I don't know. How do we make this happen, folks?
I don't know. Russell, I know you're listening. Make it happen, buddy. Make it happen.
This is something that excited me this week. This kind of hit me in the feels. I don't know about you, but apparently Star Trek TNG, it premiered back in '87, which would have put it right around, I think, like 8th grade for me. And I remember vividly sitting down, getting excited, and actually it was like appointment television with my family, but in a different way. There was a lot of appointment television back in the day with, Golden Girls or comedies or sitcoms or things that you would watch in the evening. This is the first time I could remember sitting down and watching a new science fiction genre series in the evening with your whole family around on prime time, and it was awesome.
I don't know if I watched it when it premiered at home with my family. Probably not, because my brother wouldn't have been into it, my sister, my mom, my dad, none of them would have been into it. Okay. But here's what I do remember. I remember clear as a bell going, I just mentioned him a couple minutes ago, my buddy Barnaby. I remember going to his house on Whittier Street in Northampton, Massachusetts, going into his unfinished basement that he had in his house, where there was a couch and some chairs and a rug, and it was practically that 70s show kind of thing with a TV there. And I remember watching this show, and I went from somebody who liked Star Trek to being a absolutely raving, hardcore, passionate Trekkie in a very short amount of time, because this show sucked me in and had me. And we would watch it every time there was a new episode that came out. We would watch it at his house, and we watched it all the time. And, the thing is it wasn't just the show that I liked. It was that we started going to conventions, and I sort of started to feel like I found my people. We've talked about this before, too. I think on show 28, maybe 32, could have been 41. I'm not sure. But the point is, A, we've done a lot of shows, and we should be really fucking proud of that. B,
yes, sir.
This was a great show, and I know we have Lower Decks and Picard and Voyager and DS9 and all these things that came after, all of which are awesome. But this one's a real heavy moment in my life when I found like a genre that really captured me, man. You know what I mean? I think you had that with Battlestar Galactica, right? This was one of those things that was just I was in from the beginning.
Yeah.
And even the episodes that sucked, I'm still nope, I'm good. I like them, because I'd rather spend an hour on the Enterprise than not, right? So, man, it's just it's good writing. It's good. I love Q. Not the stupid conspiracy theory that people have fallen for these days. I'm talking about the character.
Yes.
And it's a great show, man. So it's fun. It's fun to celebrate its initial release, because that show means a lot to me. Means a lot.
Yeah. And I will round that out with saying, yes, it was sort of for my family. I think it was bridging the gap between original series, which some of my family was into, and I was a bit too, I was too young for that, but I watched it in my basement room when I was in, and that sort of stuff. And then when this came out, it was like, it was the next generation. It was the perfect name, and it really brought it into this modern era for everybody, and kind of expanded. I mean, really, the blueprint for modern tech, because when you look at everything that's happened with the film series and now with Picard, it really is based on this same family that we grew up with so many years ago.
You know what? Actually, that before we move on to the next topic, Ryan, that's a really good point, is this sense of family, right? Which now I know the next generation is not perfect, and I know it has some issues, and I know there are things that as I've gotten older, it's bothered me, like, in the beginning, the women were only doctors and therapists. Like, what the hell is that, right? So, like, there were
the dress. Do you remember the dresses that? So Troy, I went back and watched Encounter at Farpoint.
Yeah.
The first like double episode premiere. It's really bizarre in a lot of ways. You've got Troy in the dress. She's already lusting after Riker. That was obvious. But then you have the dynamic of like the captain.
Look, man, the show did not come into its own in a really hardcore way until about halfway through season 2, maybe even into season 3. I mean, it didn't become mind-blowing. Actually, it was mind-blowing from the beginning, but it didn't become really quality until a little later. Now, I'm sure there are people who will disagree, Dave. I don't know if you're watching, but there are some people who will disagree, but that's sort of my take on it. Is some of those early episodes, it's like watching the original series, right? Which is, some of the sets are terrible, some of the acting is not that great, but like the stories are really cool. And from the get-go, a Counter at Farpoint, the fact that humanity was on trial for its own survival with Q, and that was pervasive throughout the whole series, and we ended on that note, was in all good things, was fantastic. So man, I really love the show. I still do. I mean, my family makes jokes all the time when I'll put on Star Trek, because it's on BBC America all the time, and I'll have it on, and they'll come out and be like, "Oh, can we watch something else?" And be like, no, I haven't seen this one. And they know damn well I've seen it like 10 times, because I'm sitting there quoting it. But it's just, it's a real comfort show. It's a real thought provoker to me, and I still love it. I still love it. Really love it.
I do too. And it just makes, every time I talk about it, makes me want, like you said, it makes me want to go rewatch episodes.
Makes you want to go watch it.
Relive that stuff. Tasha Yar, single tier. All right, folks, let's talk about...
Well, it's funny you mentioned Tasha. And what was the beast that killed him there, Artemis or whatever it was called, because they just showed him, they prank called him on Star Trek Lower Decks, and it was very funny. It was really, really funny. And they actually showed his planet, and they showed Artemis and all that stuff. I think it was Artemis. If somebody's on there and make sure I'm check my math on that, let me know. But man, it was just it was really funny. Star Trek. By the way, if you haven't seen the latest episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, I highly recommend it. It's
I haven't started this season yet, so I'm saving it.
The season takes a little to get into. I won't pretend it doesn't, but boy, when it gets going, it gets going. I mean, there are some things I never thought I'd see on a starship that involve nudity and other things. And I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. It's crazy, but it's a great show. It's a lot of fun.
Cartoon nudity doesn't count, right? That's art. Okay.
That's art.
Right. So I know we talked about Visions last week, and we decided the best way to deconstruct some of those amazing episodes is to actually go and invite, some other geeks like us to come on and break down some of our favorites and really go deep. And if you haven't, the one thing that I'll say between now and that future episode is that if you haven't gone into the special features for the Visions series on Disney Plus, you really should treat yourself, because they have these vignettes for every episode that's with every production team, every production house.
Dude, I'm so glad you told me that. I had no idea that was there. Here, let me lay down a week's enders challenge. Ryan, what do you think of it? Can I lay
Let's
down a
do
little
it.
challenge
Do
here?
it. I love a
Here's
good
what I
weekend
think we should
challenge.
do. Here's what I think we should do, folks. Ryan and I are very passionate about Star Wars Visions. In fact, I got a funny story about how that came up in a meeting this week. You'll get a kick out of it. I'm going to deviate and tell you the story now because it's funny. So I was in this meeting with some really heavy hitters, like very extremely the highest senior executives in our company. And one of the things that had to happen was everybody had to go around and say who they were and what they did, and then explain about something they'd seen recently that was really highly motivational and really thought-provoking. And everyone's talking about these documentaries and these commercials they saw, and film, like films and books they've read. And I just got up there and I was like, all right, none of you losers talked about Star Wars Vision, so I'm going to do it.
This is how you put it? Okay, this is how you broke it down, and then a hush fell over the
crowd, and I threw down Star Wars Visions. But here's my challenge to you, my friend, and to the weeksenders who may be watching.
Lay it on me.
First of all, I think we need to do a Star Wars Visions special edition of Week's End. I think it has to be, I'm going to say this, and you know me because I normally don't say it. I think it should be an hour long. Okay. And I think we should try to get a different guest for every episode. So I realize that means like 9 guests. Here's what I'm saying. If you happen to see this show, right? If you have an episode of Star Wars Visions that you really love, I know everybody likes the first one. I'm not talking about just the first one, not just the duel, all of them, right? The twins, whatever. If you have one that you feel passionate about, we would love to know, and we would love to have you on the show, and we would love to hear your thoughts on that episode. So my challenge is to Ryan, we're going to do a special edition that's an hour long, and my challenge to the weeksenders that watch this is let us know if there was one episode that really jumped out at you. If there is, tweet at us, let us know. Let's bring you on the show, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Ryan, what do you think of that?
I'm 100,000% in agreement. I'm all for it. That sounds awesome. I think I already know some super geeks that have been DMing me, just chatting about the show, that I think we could
just talking. Everybody's talking about it. I mean, how can you not? It's amazing.
I would argue it's really eclipsed the premiere and the series that's been going on of What If. Sorry.
Oh, please. It's not even.
Not even in the same league.
It's really not. Well, first of all, I mean, that's baseball and oranges are 2 different things. But second of all, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think I need to give What If another chance because I really only watched the first 2. I was like, loved the first one, and then the second one I was like, okay, I'm done. Yeah. And I know I need to give like the one where they talk about Thor being an only child and all that. Like, I need to do a better job. But Ryan Alexander Boyles, what do you have there?
I think I broke protocol in at least 20 galactic imperatives and/or laws, and there's going to be a new Grogu in the lineup. I know you see 5. I've added a 6th to the family, but how could you resist this, Graham? Look at this guy. He's the child with cup.
He's got the little with the
and
child.
I think we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to add a new segment to our show now called "I would like to see the baby."
Jesus.
So
can I ask you a question about that?
Remember that moment, right? Yeah.
I have a question. Is this new?
Yes.
Or did you buy a new old stock?
No. Well, it's new-ish.
Why does it say the child and not Grogu with cup? Is it just because more people generally know it as the child? Is that why?
This has on the back. It has Cara Dune. It has the client who has the quote, "I would like to see the baby." It has Moff Gideon, it has the armor, it has the Mandalorian, it has IG-11. So I think this is not.
Put that up to the camera. Let me see.
This is not new stock.
I mean, turn it around.
It's number 378.
Oh yeah, there's IG-11.
So I don't think this is like new, but it's new to me. They do have some new versions that are coming out that are on pre-order that you can't get yet that are going to drop later this month. But I'm almost full up on baby Grogu's. I'm I gotta pick and choose.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Is this Grogu Anonymous? Yeah, it's Graham calling it.
We're having an intervention now? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need to schedule an intervention for Ryan. He's getting really carried away. He's got more on order. Oh, you've already heard from his wife? Oh my God, and his kids, and his extended family, and his manager.
Ooh,
Wow. Okay.
that sounds serious.
All right. Well, just let's get that scheduled, and I'll let him know it's coming.
Okay.
Hey, Ryan. So I was just talking to some friends of ours, and we're going to want to get together with you for dinner
Okay.
coming
Okay.
up soon.
I have a question
Don't
though.
read into that. Don't read into that,
My
though.
only question is, can I bring a guest?
Yes, because actually we're going to have to talk about that. Oh, God, I love that my video just cut out.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring a guest. Dinner sounds awesome. I love dinner. So you know this.
I love dinner. I love dinner.
All right,
Hi,
let's do that.
Ryan.
So let's talk about the last couple of segments here. We're going to close out this week's episode.
All right.
Let's change it up. Let's talk about music. We don't talk about music every week, but this is kind of a big deal, Graham.
It's kind of a big deal.
I don't know if this makes you feel old or young or awesome or what, but Never Mind.
A bit of both.
Was released 30 years ago by Nirvana. So,
I love the music. I used to play it when I was a DJ on WBIM 91.5 FM in Bridgewater. Definitely like it. Definitely remember when Kurt Cobain died. I never fell for all the conspiratorial crap around that. But anyway, I do think it's ridiculous that the baby from the album is now suing them.
Right.
I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I don't know. I guess when you say 30 years ago, yes, fine. It makes me feel a little old, but also that music still brings me right back to the DJ booth, right?
Transport you
right back to driving crappy cars down the highway with windows down because I had no AC, but rocking to the music. So I don't know, man, bit of both.
But this music changed things, I think, and it ushered in a new era of rock and roll in a major way. And so one of the things I thought was really cool was
it did.
Because I have a new Honda, I have free Sirius XM, I guess, for like 60 days or something. I was listening to the channel Lithium. Jon Stewart of Daily Show fame was hosting an Sirius XM town hall last week with all of the original band members, minus Kurt, of course, and really an open town hall talking about making the album, talking about life with Kurt, talk about Dave Grohl joining the band. He was like the 5th drummer before they made this album, and he was not even the first Dave. So all of this just excellent like behind the scenes stuff, and true to our show, like useless knowledge, but completely fascinating.
But fascinating stuff, dude. I mean, it's stuff like that's the coolest, right? I mean, and Dave Grohl, I mean, I may have one or two Foo Fighters fans who live in my house, full disclosure, and
sure.
I mean, he's remarkably talented, and I also love some of the stuff he does that's political, and bringing stuff on. There's the Foo Fighters fan right there.
Here we go. She was like, "What? You're talking about Dave?"
I also love that he brought that girl on. That's the little girl that's the super talented drummer. And then remember when he did the thing with the Westboro Baptist Church when he went and so I don't know, man. These are great people, great music. I think it's unfortunate that we lost Kurt, but I think it continues to go to show that we need to pay attention to mental health care, which has not advanced in the 30 years, by the way.
That's a good conversation. It's gotten
worse.
That's a good conversation to have for sure.
It's gonna be another goddamn rant of the week right now. Let me tell you.
All right,
anyway,
we're gonna write the next. I do know what you're saying, but it inspired my son to become a musician. I would say Nirvana played a huge part. So
that's great.
This is the last story of the folk.
I love this.
So you're gonna like this. I know you like this. So apparently Mick Jagger. So the Rolling Stones performed in Charlotte, North Carolina last night. The night before that, he broke, I guess, local Twitter. I don't know how big this got. I don't know. You saw it, but he was hanging.
It got big.
It got big. So he was hanging out just right out front of this little, dive bar in Charlotte called the Thirsty Beaver Saloon, of all places. Here's the funny part. So a news reporter went and interviewed the barkeep to try to see, did they get Mick's signature on like a credit card slip or something? And then beyond that, they found some of the people that are sitting in this photo, and they found out that the whole group of guys over to the right-hand side, they all had tickets to the show. They were going there the next night. They never saw that it was Mick. So they were standing right beside him.
So that was my big question is, did anybody realize who he was? Because He is so. I mean, first of all, dude, who would ever go into a bar? I mean, even in Charlotte, even in Boston, I mean, anywhere, and just be like, "Oh, that
Well,
must be
look,
Mick Jagger." You might be
it
like,
looks,
"Wow, that guy
but it,
looks
but
like
look,
him."
it looks just like him. I mean, but it also looks like some guy's dad. Maybe, I don't
It
know.
just looks like some dude's dad.
Like
So
he's
I
not
mean,
wearing he's not wearing a disguise. He's got a
okay,
baseball hat on. You
but
know.
here's my point. So you're telling me I'm assuming he went in and ordered the drink, and now it's possible whoever took the photo did. But here's my point. He may be somewhat decent at going incognito as Mick Jagger or, you know, Bick Wagger or whatever he was telling people his name was.
Careful there, my friend.
Dick Swagger. But
There we go.
you're telling me the minute he went in there and ordered the drink and that
I don't know.
accent came out and that unique voice that people weren't like,
I
whoa,
feel
whoa,
like
whoa,
he's
whoa,
got to.
whoa.
I feel like he's got to have handlers. Now look at this.
Whoa!
Now this
Is
is
that really
something.
it, or did you Photoshop that?
No. This is the bar. So this is the reason I think he went to this bar. So the backstory, there's a whole backstory about the bar itself. So this is my good friend Jason Keith, who runs socialfresh.com and all of the
Oh,
Social
Jason's
Fresh
great.
conferences. Jason's awesome. So he
Yep.
tweeted about the fact that the thing that people don't know from that original picture is that the Thirsty Beaver, it's been around a while, and this developer that wanted to develop, you see these kinds of condos all over Raleigh, all over Charlotte, all over everywhere. They were trying, they wanted to buy the block and bulldoze the whole place. The bar owner said, hell no, we won't go. And they built it around the bar. Look at that. It's like notched out. It's like a cartoon. It's incredible. I mean, that's just amazing. So
Wow.
I wonder if he went there because he was like Googling weird places to go have a beer in Raleigh, and he found not only is it the Thirsty Beaver Saloon that's been there for umpteen decades, but it's like in this weird like location, right?
Wow.
Very, very bizarre.
Well, Mick, I'm sure you are also. I know Mick is a huge fan of Week's End, and buddy, if you're watching again this week, anytime you want to get together, you can come on down, and we got a couple of bars here in central Massachusetts.
Yes,
Not
sir.
many, but a few.
Well, I know folks that went to the
take you
show.
out, buddy.
I know folks that went down to the show here from Raleigh. They said it was a great night. I want to close out the show with this final thought, Graham. I think this is going to tie together from our original subject, but I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's the weekend. So that's my joke. I'm proud of it. I'm gonna probably make an NFT out of this joke because I'm so proud of it. But I hope everyone does have a great weekend. Graham, I hope you do.
Yes. Yeah. Likewise, buddy.
Hope
have a great weekend.
Let's raise our glass to the weekend, and we'll see you next week on Weeks. And thanks for watching, everybody.
And here's to the completion of show number 60.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We spared no expense. We had Daniel freaking Craig.
Great.
You know it's not a party till you spill your beer. So all right,
I
folks.
just did.
We'll see you. We'll see you next time. Peace out.